What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm...
Hey guys, I'm here to talk about what happened in Salem this week, August 11th through the 15th. Big thing that happened this week is that Kristen returns to Salem. Eileen Davidson has been back for a few weeks, but Kristen finally returns to her hometown of Salem, courtesy of Dr. Daniel Jonas, who had her tied up in a truck earlier this week. He managed to pick the truck whose first stop was Salem, and so she got taken into custody by the Salem PD. So miraculously, everybody who needed to be there for Kristen's big reveal was at the police station. So now we're going to track how everybody got to the police station. So obviously Hope was there because she is a detective, and she was there talking to Jennifer about the whole situation with Sami and also Aiden. So Hope asks Jen about her date with Aiden, which he so casually mentioned to Hope while he was at the station. Hope finds out that Jennifer made a date to go to the theater as a friendish thing with Jennifer. He's offering her, a shoulder while she's going through the whole lawsuit thing, and we can tell that Hope is starting to get slightly jealous. Daniel and Jennifer have a moment at the hospital where she's like, I just want to take care of you and I feel really bad and I was so worried. And he says, you know what, maybe it's just best if you leave, okay? Because I'm through with these women manipulating me. And he says that to Kristen. He says, you know what the problem is? Is everybody thinks that I can't do something because there's a woman involved. Which has been kind of a joke on days that, he's a doctor and his next patient is going to be his girlfriend. And which is actually true, but it's now become a joke that's actually taking its toll on Daniel's character, because he's finally realizing that women just take advantage of him and they just come at him left and right. So that's only turning him off to Jennifer more. Marlena and Eric Cole were there because Marlena was talking to Eric about what happened in Rome. Sami asks about it later, afterwards, and Nicole and Sami get into this huge fight because Sami keeps blaming Nicole. At first she accuses her of doing something to sabotage Eric's case. Eric tells her, however, that it was actually his decision because of how he feels about Nicole. And of course he's telling everybody that, it's hate, but everybody is telling him, hey Eric, are you sure hate is the only thing you feel? Nicole walks in on Marlene and Eric's chat. A jogger jogs through, and because there was this random jogger in the beginning of the scene, and everyone's like, why the heck was he there? And we learned that later it was so that he could steal Nicole's purse and Eric could run after him. And of course they need to go down to the police station to give statements, which is where they run into Kristen. Moving on, Sami and EJ were also there. Sami was there because she wants to file a restraining order against EJ. Because earlier on this week, the kids were talking about how they wanted to all go out and do something as a family. Sami is suspecting that EJ is telling them this, having something to do with it, because he wants to weasel his way back into Sami's life. Sami is selling all of EJ's wonderful art. There was a painting, she said, that was Pollock, and she's selling it for obviously a lot less than it is worth. And EJ is going nuts. He says, that's part of our children's inheritance. What are you doing? And she's like, they'll be fine. Sami and EJ are still on the outs right now. She's really being suspicious and, really attacking him for every single thing that he's doing. So, she finally cracks and says, I'm filing that restraining order, so that's why they're there. So then Daniel walks in with Kristen in handcuffs as everybody is at the police station for one reason or another, and they all turn their heads and boom, there's Kristen. Ah! Unfortunately, Brady is not there at the time because he is wallowing in self-pity at the hospital or having mysterious conversations in the park with Teresa. So Kristen says, I want to talk to my lawyer, and that is EJ. Comes in and she's like, hey bud, we're Damaras, you're my brother, you gotta help me out. Loyalty, family loyalty here. So EJ decides to refuse flat out to help Kristen. He is so nasty to her. He says, You were the reason that this whole thing got started because I was loyal to you. So you know what? I'm done with that because that's caused me nothing but trouble. And I'm going to do everything I can to help the prosecution to put you away for a long time. And he later tells this to Samantha as an attempt to get back in her good graces or to ease her anger a little bit because she is furious thinking that he's helping out Kristen. Because basically all their troubles started with her. Now that Kristen is in custody, she is calling her father, asking her father for help because EJ turned his back on her. And I don't think she really has a plan yet, but as of right now, they are filing charges of, assault and all those crimes that she was convicted of before she fled the scene. So hopefully we'll see more of what happens to Kristen next week. Brady finally found out, and he was so upset. He barged down to the police station and demanded to see Kristen. He was actually mouthing off to a cop. He was like, "Excuse me, are you new here? You must be new here because you don't know what this woman has done to me." Okay, he says, "Stefano has dirty cops all over the station. Are you a dirty cop? Because I would hate that." And Marlene is like, "That's how you get arrested. Don't pay attention to this fool. Brady, get over here." So Marlena managed to calm him down, and so he's gonna see Kristen when he's ready and when he's got a clear head so he can really have it out with her. So we all know that Will is writing an article that's very defamatory towards his mother. Sonny reads it and he's extremely worried. He thinks that he should give his mom a heads up, and this is just going to cause lots of problems for his family. So Sonny's trying to be, a good husband and try to keep Will sane here because Will's starting to just get so mad that he's flying off the handle just like Sami is. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He's just so consumed with, getting his mother to see what she's doing and sticking it to his mother. The moment that Sonny realizes that maybe he should back off is when Will tells him about Adrian and how Sami made up the lie about his dad and Aunt Kayla. The writer comes to collect from Will and then takes the article to Sami to get her comment on the article before it goes to print. Sami at first is very excited. "Oh my gosh, Will wrote an article about me, that's so sweet." And then she starts reading it. And boy, is she mad. She goes to confront him. Sami and Will have this huge argument, and both of them are getting their arsenal, and they're just throwing crap at each other. She's saying, "I did everything for you. I sacrificed everything. The past few years it's all about Sami and EJ trying to cover up, Nick's baggage and everything." Will is, throwing everything, all of her mistakes in her face. They bring up the fact that Will called her a slut last week. It ended with Sami saying, "You know what? You writing this article is throwing all that unconditional love and all my sacrifice for you back in my face. And someday you're gonna regret that you did this to your mother." Now, in this article that Will wrote, he kept EJ's mistress anonymous. One of the things he wanted to do was to protect Abigail. Now, Sami, after reading the article, she says, "I have some comments and they're going to be heard." And so Sami tells, well, they don't show this, but we know what happened. We can connect the dots. That Sami told the editor that her name was Abigail Devereaux, and they're going to change that in the publishing. So Abigail's secret is going to be blown all over town. She's saying she's trying to get a job and she can't find one because she needs a reference. And she didn't get one from the hospital. So it's going to be even harder to find a job once everybody knows about this, once Will's article comes out. True Vista magazine, I believe it's called, and Adrian starts to figure out, "Oh, that's owned by Uncle Victor. Sonny, why don't you want Will to know that?" "You got him the job, didn't you? You're lying to him!" She figures it out like that. And of course she tells Sonny, "You can't keep secrets from your husband, but of course this is a soap and we're keeping secrets until it comes out in a dramatic way." EJ and Sami also have a very intense conversation about the board and how if Sami files that restraining order, which she never got to do because Kristen got in the way, then the board will notice and they will get suspicious and they will start, taking out their money. They'll start panicking because they don't know what's going on. And so EJ is saying that they need to keep up this ruse to EJ and Stefano were totally okay with what Kate and Sami are doing. And so there's this really funny scene where Sami's on the phone with like Shin from Japan or wherever, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, EJ Namera's not here." And EJ goes, "Oh, darling, I'm home." And then she's like, yeah, he just walked in. Here, you can talk to him." And EJ is so smooth. He's playing this. He's a Demira. He knows what to do. He even starts threatening Kate, telling her she doesn't know what she's doing and she's a fool if she thinks Stefano is not going to come after her. Rafe is also on to Kate because they have a conversation about Jordan and how she may have wanted this whole secret to come out. He kind of interrogates her about why she's doing all of this to Stefano on his behalf. And I think he's coming to the conclusion that they're a little bit more than friends. Rafe tries to talk to Jordan, and she still doesn't know if she can trust Rafe with everything else that's going on with her dad. Speaking of which, Clyde is expanding his dirty business to Salem. Instead of just being in this tiny little town in Papa Bluff, in the Ozarks, he is bringing his truck to Salem, whatever that means. This may have something to do with EJ and his dirty business that he's starting up with Victor. We don't know. We'll see where that goes. That's all I got for this week, guys. Tune in next week, and see you next time. Bye.